So it's a beautiful, sunny, kind of wintry day here in Paraguay. My friend called me up and said, let's go. I've got this lovely property to show you. So here I am, and I've just had a bit of a walk around, and I tend to agree with him. This is a beautiful part of the world. I'm in a location almost halfway between the towns of Atyrá and Tobatí. It's on an unpaved road. This road gets used quite a bit, and as I understand, it's generally, in pretty good condition in respect to being able to navigate it. I live not too far from here. I'm pretty familiar with the area, and the people around here are generally very cool, very nice people. This particular road, I don't think it has any interruptions at any time of year. It's always been accessible by two wheels whenever I've been around here. And we've had some pretty serious rainfalls in the last few weeks, and it hasn't caused any great dramas. And it's very handy to be between those two towns, about 5 to 7 kilometres each way to those towns of Tobatí and Atyrá. It's very handy to be between two towns because it doubles your options in respect to shopping. Tobatí's got all sorts of building materials. They make bricks and tiles, and Atyrá's got some great hardware stores, a good supermarket, a 24-hour hospital. I don't know what Tobatí's got going in terms of its medical facilities, but there's a lot going on between these two towns, so it's a good option to be in a place that has two handy little towns like that. It's got power past the door, monophase power. Here in Paraguay they have mono and three-phase. We have monophase at our place, and we run everything that we need to run on it, so it's no big impediment in my opinion. The property is an interesting proposition. It's 5 hectares, a little bit over, and it has an 89-metre frontage, which is a nice piece of land in respect to its dimension at the front, because when you've got a wide street frontage, it gives you more options than what it does when it's a narrower proposition. And I've just gone for a walk right through the property, but as you can see at the front, it's pretty much cleared. It has a beautiful little natural spring and well just in there where you can't see, but it has a water source. I understand that's there all year round, so that's a big bonus to have water to start with. And then it goes on to a really densely vegetated area, and it goes back several hundred meters back to the rear boundary, which is about 43 meters across. So the property is shaped roughly like a wedge, and it's wider at the front, goes down narrower at the back. In my opinion, that's ideal because you can potentially put something down the back in respect to a property, a house or whatever, and you've got all sorts of options up the front, whether you want to plant that up or put it into a subdivision type situation. You've got those options. So there's a lot to like about this property. It's on the market for 500 millioni, so at that kind of price point of 100 millioni Guarani per hectare. And I often talk about that price point of where I like to sort of set my marker. You can find it quite a bit higher than that in this particular area, and you can sometimes find it lower, but not a lot lower than that. 100 mil Leone Guarani per hectare is more than reasonable in my opinion. And the other thing that I often talk about is that around that sort of size of 5 hectares and up, well, it becomes a bit of a challenge. In fact, a real challenge to find that sort of acreage in this area. A lot of the land here has been snapped up, it's been divvied up into lotties, but those sort of sweet 3, 5 hectare properties aren't all that easy to find. I have also been told there's some other land that's adjacent to this property that's for sale if somebody wanted a bit more land than that. But 5 hectares is a big chunk of land to work with. And just looking out across the other side of the road, you've got no immediate neighbours across from you. It's really a beautiful uninhabited part of the world. You've got a neighbour in there. He's a lovely man. He's grazing cattle and doing a bit of firewood. An older guy, really nice fellow. Looks like he's a hard worker, very friendly. I think he would be a good man to know, actually. And it's always good to have friendly, useful neighbours. And around this area, it's not all that uncommon that you will have those sort of people, because this region, this part of Atyrá, is really known for being quite friendly. There's no massive dramas here. Look at that bird's nest up there, it's cool. But yeah, the people of this area are nice. And I know that because I'm not too far from here. And we have been delighted to live in this area since we've been here. And I would recommend anyone at least consider this spot. So I'm not able to actually walk you through the vegetated area at the back simply because it's too dense. We went for a walk on the property next door to it just to give you an idea of what it's like in there. But in terms of this property, it looks like it's been pretty much untouched. So you can't even wade your way through there. And it's one of those things, whenever you're buying a property that's got a wooded area like that, you really need to get an environmental assessment done. It's just part of the due diligence process. The country is quite sensitive when it comes to, you know, its vegetation. It's been so deforested that there's some things in place just to make sure that people don't come in and just flatten the whole thing. But it's not anywhere near as arduous as some of the other places that I've come from, and I don't think you would have too much drama if you wanted to do something back there. You just need to know what's there, and some of the more valuable, sort of revered trees sometimes are, you know, kept in place, but it's usually not too much of a issue, but all part of your due diligence. The other things that I'd look out for in a place like this is, who are your neighbours? There's an old guy there and it looks like a house over there. I cannot hear any doof at all. Nothing. I can't hear anything except the odd motorbike coming down the road. This is, you know, a nice tranquil area. And I think if someone was looking for, you know, a decent chunk of land with subdivision options, this would have to be on your list of possible starters. Everything to do here. It's got fences, but the fences are pretty shoddy. Something you need to think about. Got no problems with your power. I don't know what their scenario is with their water supply here. There's possibly a town water supply, but you've got that water source on your property. And although it looks a bit murky, that's just because of the sediment and the sand. It's quite sandy down on this flat spot here. But as you go back, it goes onto a really rich red soil. So you've got various things going on in respect to your land and what you might decide to grow. But in all, I think this is a real potential option if you're looking for a good chunk of land. If you're interested, drop us an email. I can put you in contact with the people who are involved in selling the property. My understanding is that the owner is a single individual It's not a family situation as far as I know. So it sounds to me on the face of it like everything's quite straightforward in respect to the offer. And as I often try and explain to people, when you're wanting to buy a property in Paraguay, you're looking as much for a good seller as what you are looking for a good property, because you can drive all around here and find a million bits of land with for sale signs out the front, but once you do a little bit of digging, you realise that there's many reasons why it's not a viable sale. This one here, I believe, is genuine, viable and ready to roll. So, hey, it might be of interest to someone out there. Everyone ultimately will make up their own mind. So, until next time, take care. Ciao.
Smoking